Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting of the North Providence Town Council to order. Please stand and salute the flag and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Nice, all decorated in here. Item number 1 on the agenda, acceptance of the meeting minutes. The minutes from the meeting of August 20th, October 29th, November 12th, 5:30 p.m. meeting, November 12th at 6:30, November 18th at 6:45, and November 18th at 7 p.m., 2014, to be accepted and approved by the Town Council. I'll entertain a motion to accept and place on file.
Madam President?
Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Councilman Giusti?
I'd like to make a change to the November 18th, 7 p.m. meeting. I voted yea on the acceptance of the Financial Audit Committee meeting, the minutes of it, and I'd like to vote nay on that.
Well, you voted yea, so you're asking us to...
Change my vote to nay.
Okay, well, I don't think we can just change the vote. I did get a call from the media, actually, letting me know that you were going to change your vote. So, the media. So what I did was I actually looked up Robert's Rules of Order to see how we go about changing a vote, because in 4 years, we've never had to change a vote. So according to Robert's Rule of Order, a vote could be reconsidered if a couple of things have or have not taken place. So if any part of the vote that was taking place which had any contractual obligations in it, a vote could not be reconsidered. The contractual obligations within the minutes of that meeting were that we had hired an attorney, John Lamont, and to the best of my knowledge, he's already taken the responsibility, the documentation for the whistleblower program.
That's not why I'm changing my vote.
No, I understand, but I read it so I could understand on how to change a vote, because we've never changed a vote after the fact. So, and it has nothing to do with you changing the vote, because I don't think the outcome is going to change either way. I just want to make sure that we're doing it the proper way. So with that being said, I don't think that we can take a vote to reconsider the change of the vote because of Robert's Rules of Order.
I'm just asking for my vote to be changed from yea to nay. And the reason for that is because I don't agree, which I didn't realize that it was slipped in under the guise of accepting the minutes, that we pay this lawyer that wasn't licensed a fee of almost $9,000. And I don't feel that that was right the way it was done. It should have been, if we were going to vote on that one item like that, it should have been brought out up front and said, hey, we're going to vote on this.
Well, I don't want to get into it.
I didn't want to get into that. All I asked for was to change my vote from a yea to a nay on the acceptance of the minutes. That's all I asked for. And I gave you the reason now.
And I understand why you want to change them, but because, like I said, I knew you were going to change your vote, I wanted to make sure that...
I don't know how you knew that. I didn't talk to anybody about that.
Well, the media told me that you were changing your vote.
The media told you.
So I wanted to make sure we were doing it the right way, because in any event, I'm throwing it out there. Robert's Rules of Order say that in order to change a vote, you have to reconsider whether or not the vote can be changed. And if any part of the motion that was made that you're looking to change has been enacted on,
Madam President?
Oh,
Does it
yes.
also in violation of the open meeting law?
Well, we can't take a vote if it's not on the agenda. So that was the second part of it. What should have been done, it
Forget
should have gone on the
Just
agenda.
forget it. Just forget it.
You can take a vote. I'll be voting nay. I'm more than happy to take your vote. I just, in 4 years...
All I'm asking is for my vote to be changed. It's not going to change the outcome of the
Correct.
acceptance or denial of those minutes.
Right.
All I'm asking is my vote to be changed. And the only reason I'm doing that is because the other thing was slipped in under the guise of accepting the minutes.
Well, it wasn't slipped in, and I looked at the minutes of the meeting, and it clearly stated that we were approving that.
The minutes of the meeting said it, yeah, from the Finance Audit Committee, but it was never mentioned here.
Yes, it was. It's right on the
Okay,
minutes
just
that we're
forget it. Just
approving.
forget it.
I'd be more than happy to if the council votes and they
Go ahead,
want
take the
to.
vote. Go ahead, we know how this is going to
But I'm just letting you know, I don't think it's appropriate.
Go ahead. Take the vote.
I mean, the actual vote would be to reconsider if we didn't move forward within the contract. So whatever the council's pleasure is, I'm just going to follow Robert's Rules of Order and make sure that we don't have any violation. So it's up to you.
Take the vote.
Okay, the motion,
What are we voting?
the,
Which vote we taking?
Just, well, you're taking a vote to whether I can change it or not. Yeah.
Okay, so you make a motion, what we should do is not take a motion to approve the minutes yet. You should be making a motion to reconsider the vote of the 18th to approve that report.
Okay,
And then if there's a second, then there's discussion, and then there's a vote.
okay.
And then we'll get to the other meeting minutes.
What other meeting?
These other listing minutes, I mean, the other ones you're.
I got no problems with the other.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying, let's take that first,
Okay.
Councilman. Your motion to reconsider first, see where that goes, and then take the other minutes.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we reconsider the approval of the Finance Audit Committee minutes.
This is just for your vote?
no, it's to, the motion is
In other words,
to
you're going to re-vote
reconsider.
on the whole thing.
No, it's not to revote on the whole thing. It's to reconsider. It's to reconsider to vote, then we would have to make a second vote.
Yeah, that's on,
Right,
yeah, I understand that.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not to vote on the,
It's to whether we can vote or not.
correct.
That's fine. I'll second his motion.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion?
Yeah, the other discussion, with regards to this particular subject? No, I have no question on that then.
Okay. A motion has been made and seconded to reconsider the vote. I'll take a roll call vote. Councilman Fiola?
Aye.
Councilman Lynch?
Nay.
Councilman Warren? Nay. Councilman Ordiello?
Nay.
Councilwoman Brady?
Nay.
Councilman Juicy?
Aye.
And the chair votes nay. Motion fails. Okay. So now I'll entertain, we do have a motion on the floor. A motion was made and seconded to approve those aforementioned minute meetings. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
My question is, if November 18th at 6:45, is that with regards to the special, the audit committee meeting?
No, that's the meeting that's in the packet for Fry Energy, where we had to approve the amendments for the Section 4 on the contract. Remember, we had to change some language in there for the taxes?
Okay. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 2, liquor license. A notice was given of a public hearing to be held on this date in the Providence Journal on November 14th and 21st, 2014, for the stock transfer of a Class A liquor license from the following: Mineral Spring Liquor Incorporated, DBA Mineral Spring Liquors, 1005 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, to Middle Spring Liquor Incorporated, DBA Middle Spring Liquors, 1005 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence. Is there anyone here representing Middle Spring Liquors?
Good evening, Madam President. Stephen DeJohn Filippo for the applicant. And yes, well, you recited the application accurately. You know, the only nuance is, though it's a license transfer, it's actually in the form of a transfer of stock. As a result of Evelyn Sakosha's passing, her will left those shares to her son, John Sakosha. And he is in attendance at the hearing. You know, I believe we've submitted everything that the town council needs to approve the transfer, with the exception of a certificate of good standing from the Rhode Island Division of Taxation. And the corporation's accountant is also here and has submitted the paperwork necessary to get that. So I would respectfully request that the approval be granted contingent on submission of the necessary certificate of good standing.
Thank you. I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry. I was
Stephen DeJohn Filippo.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Same here.
Who are the registered owners? Just Mr. Sakosha?
Well, he will be. Currently, when Evelyn passed away, yeah, I guess the stock technically is in limbo in the probate estate right now. But the will leaves those shares to John. So I think it's fair to say he has title subject to defeasance, you know, closing of the probate estate, approval of the transfer.
Okay. I just need to ask one question of our legal counsel. All right, I was just confirming something on the application, and you had mentioned it about the estate. I thought it should have said Mr. Sakosha's name, but our attorney just clarified it for me.
Is it in order?
Yes, it is. This is only the first time I saw an application like this, so I apologize.
Understandable.
I don't have any other questions. Those were the only two questions that I had. I know the business has been in business for many, many years, probably longer than I've even been around. So I don't have any questions. If the council has any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to grant, subject to all necessary requirements.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam President, and all other members of the town council. Thank
Have a good night.
you. You too.
Item number 3 on the agenda, a notice was given of a public hearing to be held this date in the Providence Journal on November 14th and 21st, 2014, for a Class BV full liquor license transfer from the following: All American Grill Incorporated, DBA All American Grill, 1759 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, to the Rusty Halo LLC, DBA The Rusty Halo, 1759 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence. Is there anyone here representing the American Grill and the Rusty Halo?
Hello.
Good evening, how are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
Please just state your name for the record.
Sure, Peter DiLorenzo, Rusty Halo LLC.
Why don't you take that microphone out and then speak into that microphone,
Sorry about
please?
that.
That's okay. Bad acoustics.
Pete DiLorenzo from the Rusty Halo LLC.
Okay,
And along with me is Richard Leonard from All American Grill.
great. All right, we received the liquor license application. If there's anything that you want to let us know about your restaurant, your establishment, your concept, that would be very helpful.
Yeah, first off, I'd like to thank you all for getting me in so quickly. It was kind of like a whirlwind this month. Working with Troy has been excellent in getting all my paperwork in as much as I could. Sorry about that. One thing on my application, I think I might have misled, not realizing I was misleading. There is a line on the application that states something to the effect of, have you been arrested and convicted, or however it was worded. I had marked no. I had marked no because there was an incident that was thrown out back in my past of 2009. Because it was thrown out, I just went on the assumption that I could mark no because it was thrown out. As I reviewed my own paperwork and I looked at it again and kind of read the wording of it, so I just want to clear that up. I didn't want to mislead anybody, inappropriately. So for that, I apologize on my paperwork. As for the transfer, myself and Rich have been working for the last month getting it done. I took care of all the back taxes that were owed to North Providence, satisfied all the liquor distributors and whatnot. Richard's kind of like guided me along. This past week, we were able to open up with Richard for a couple of days during the Thanksgiving week to try to do like a little soft open and learn how this turned on and that turned on and so on. As for concept, I'm getting rid of the sports bar theme. I know a lot of hands have been in and out of that business over the last couple of years, and I just don't think it worked. So with that, I'm going a little more restaurant style-ish. We took all the neons out of the windows, and we put up a little bit of half privacy glass to make it a little more tame looking. I actually live right next door at 1801 in the condos, so I even know what some of the complaints were in the past from the people that live at the condos, with the trash at night and all those kind of things. And be living there on that back wall, just like the other residents, we took case into that too to make sure that we could appease everybody as best as we can. And the only thing that I believe isn't in is my letter of good standing from the state of Rhode Island. One is in from the state of Delaware, where I'm LLC'd. The Rhode Island state cashed my check. It's just not here yet. I would like the transfer to go through if possible, obviously, and just contingent to that.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. DiLorenzo?
I have one question. So
Yes.
you stated you were arrested,
Yes.
so I'm assuming it was dismissed but not expunged.
Right, and I thought it was expunged because it was thrown out, and I was told thrown out, so, it wasn't a deliberate, it was because it was thrown out, I just assumed I could put no, properly.
Madam President?
Yes,
Yeah,
Councilwoman?
I did want to just ask one question
Sure.
also. As far as your misunderstanding of the form, will you be coming in to file an amended form with the
Of
correct
course.
information?
Sure.
All right,
Of course.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor or against the application? All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to grant, subject to all the necessary requirements, including what Councilwoman Brady asked you to amend that form to, please.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. We have
Thank
another.
you.
You're welcome, thank you. We have another one, you're still up. We have your victualling and entertainment license.
Okay.
Item number 4, we received the victualling license from the Rusty Halo LLC, DBA Rusty Halo, 1759 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence. Anyone have any questions on the victualling license?
Make a motion to grant.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And item number 5, the entertainment license. We received the application for your entertainment license for the Rusty Halo DBA, 1759 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence. I did look over the application, and when you come in, it says, when you go over the entertainment application and you get it from the clerk's office, there's a couple of blanks on there. So just review that application.
I
If
will.
it's not applicable, it's an NA.
Okay.
It's not a blank. On this application, I see that you put no bands,
Correct.
and you put just two-man groups?
Yeah, anything within...
Comedians, right?
Anything within AMP, I have no interest in hosting that, having that. I don't believe the place is really suitable for that type. And again, getting rid of that sports bar theme, it's just not in my plan to do it. Acoustic style things, comedy shows, stuff like that, that's a little more my flavor, so.
Are you going to have Richard? He's smiling right now.
Richard will be in the kitchen.
Okay, any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to grant, subject to all necessary requirements.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Great. You're all set. Good luck, and to get all your licenses, you just come to the clerk's office.
Thank you guys all so much.
Great. Thank you. Item number 6, we received an application for a transfer of a victualling license from the following: LNP Enterprises, DBA Domino's Pizza, 1818 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence, to LNP Enterprises, DBA Domino's Pizza, 1744 Middle Spring Avenue, North Providence. Is there anyone here representing Domino's this evening?
Good evening.
How are you tonight?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Just state your name for the record.
William Christina. I'm the president of LNP Enterprises.
Okay. Looks like it's just a location change, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Are you in the new establishment yet?
Yes.
Okay. I did see where it went from one place to the other. I have no questions. Does anyone have any questions?
I'll make a motion to grant.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Odhiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Good luck in your new location.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Item number 7 on the agenda, the Rough Stone Tavern Incorporated, DBA Fahrenheit 516. A summons was sent via hand delivery to registered agent for the Rough Stone Tavern, DBA Fahrenheit, to 1 Ship Street, Providence, to appear on this date for the purpose of a formal hearing with a status of the operations and/or the sale of the business. Good evening. How are you tonight?
Good evening, I'm fine. Yourself?
Just state your name for the record.
Sean Feely.
Great. Thank you for coming in. The reason why we did ask you to come in, the last time we spoke with you, I don't remember the date, we had a conversation that you weren't going to be opening, and the people that you had leased the facility to weren't going to be there anymore, and before you did anything, you would appear again before the council. So we did receive your application, so you did comply with the renewal requirements, but because of what you said the last time we met, we wanted you to come in
Okay.
to give us an update on where you're at and what you might be doing.
The building is for sale. There's a gentleman in North Providence who's already got a restaurant/bar. He's interested. He said he won't make an offer till springtime. He's not ready to do it yet, but he came in and checked it out, so I have my fingers crossed about that. I would like to get the license not suspended anymore if possible, but I'm still not going to open. My wife just doesn't want to do it anymore. And basically, that's what we're just trying to sell it. I'm sure we will sell it. If it doesn't sell by the end of spring, we're going to go in another direction. We aren't sure which way, but we're not going to reopen the establishment. But if it's possible, I'd like to get the suspension lifted, which would make it a little easier to sell.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Feely? So this would be, the first item, we would just be acting on the liquor license on the Rough Stone. He did comply with the requirements, got everything back on time. He is saying that he is not opening. I don't have a problem renewing the liquor license for the establishment. So I'll entertain a motion to grant the liquor license, subject to necessary requirements.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. Any other comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? The ayes have it. The second item would be the entertainment license. I see that you're not going to open. My only concern with the entertainment license is that if we were to renew the entertainment license and you were to sell the establishment and it transferred, you know, with the new persons, they would automatically think that they had an entertainment license.
Well,
And
that would be subject to a future date when they went to transfer it, meaning they'd have to show what they were trying to do, like the last gentleman did here.
right.
So personally, I don't see why that should be a problem. And it's also a selling point.
I misspoke. I had misspoken when I thought that the entertainment license would be something that's transferred. It wouldn't be transferred. It would have to be a new entertainment license. But just in my personal opinion, if the establishment is staying closed, I don't feel that there would be a need to have the entertainment license and renew the entertainment license portion of it.
Well, I'd ask you to reconsider because it is a selling point, and even if they had to go and get a new entertainment license, it's still a selling point being that it has an entertainment license. I can't possibly do any damage or anger any of the neighbors if we're not open, but it still helps to sell the place, which in this environment, I need every angle that I could possibly have, and I'd appreciate if you consider extending it while I own the place.
Okay. What we probably would do is, because you're saying that you're not opening, I just, at this point, may not be in favor of the entertainment license portion of it. I don't know if Councilman Audiello, yeah, excuse me.
I think the compromise legal counsel just discussed with us would be to give you the entertainment license. However, if you were to open again, or obviously the people that would buy it would have to come before us, but if you were to open again, all the restrictions remain, and you would have to come before this council again as well.
Could you explain that in a little more depth? I mean, I have no intentions of open, but if I did open it,
If you decided to open next week, you'd have to come
Okay.
before us again.
as far as the entertainment license
far as
goes,
the
it does,
entertainment.
yes, that doesn't bother me at all, because I have no intention of,
Okay.
but it makes a difference trying to sell it.
Right, but you have to understand that the buyer would have to come apply for a new license.
Is that standard operating
Yes.
procedure for any, okay.
Yes.
Then it wouldn't make any difference except for me to say, I do have an entertainment license.
Yeah.
But you would have to go in front of the town council.
I can't
would
hear
have to
you.
tell them that, correct?
Can you speak in the microphone? I can't hear you.
If I did sell it and I have an entertainment license, I would tell them that they do have to go in front of the town council. And that's
Yes.
not a transfer, that would be a new license,
Yes.
and that's standard, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yep.
that's it then.
Yeah, that's why I said I made a mistake when I was saying it was transferred.
I
The only
just-
thing that gets transferred is the actual liquor license, and then all the other licenses that you apply for are new.
I see, I thought that that was part of a transfer also. I was incorrect. Okay.
I had so many of them on here, I just wanted to make sure that nothing was going to get transferred, but that's why legal counsel had corrected me on that. So, Councilman Audiello suggested the compromise would be if we granted the entertainment license, that if Mr. Feely was to open anytime before a sale is made, just like he did this evening, he'd have to come back before the council with his intentions that he is opening and how he's going to utilize that entertainment license.
There's one other issue that I just came to mind. I have a couple very close friends who live in North Providence, and their son is dying. And he asked me last week if he could have a private party at my establishment on the day of the wake or funeral. And I told him that I would ask you, because I had told you before they have no intentions of, there will be nothing sold. They're going to bring food in and liquor, whatever they're bringing. And they wanted me to set up a karaoke machine for, it's going to be 2-3 hours. I wanted to ask permission to do that. And if I will text you or call you and tell you the day if you say it's okay.
I would say if you were to notify the clerk,
Town clerk?
just let them
Okay.
know, because obviously you don't know the day.
I don't
And
know.
I'm very sorry for that. But if you were to notify the clerk,
I will do that.
the council's pleasure, I don't
The
think...
clerk
that
is in the
it-
clerk's office?
Right here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mr. Rendine,
How
he's
would
our
I-
acting
Mr. Rendine,
clerk.
how would I get in touch with you?
You could just call the clerk's office and ask to speak with Joe Rendine.
Okay.
And let him know. And,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
So, okay.
That's fine.
Any other questions? Okay. What we'll do, I'll entertain a motion to grant the entertainment license with the stipulation that if the establishment is going to be open with exception of the day,
That's the only thing.
that
I'll
you'll
do.
notify the clerk, and the clerk will notify the police department, just out of abundance of caution. And then for you to come back in front of the council if there's
Absolutely.
any use after that. So I'll entertain that motion to grant with those requirements. A motion's been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Warren. Any other questions? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you
Great.
very much. Good night.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 8 on the agenda. We received a notice from Rita Pignatelli and John Barad, Carlos Palenka, and Susan Pandozzi concerning the Rough Stone Tavern, who wish to speak about the establishment. Good evening.
Good evening, Rita Pignatelli. It's all set. You answered our questions for us. So
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So if it's on the agenda again for whatever reason, we'll let you
We would
know.
still have to sign to be on, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have anything that they want to say who's on the agenda? Okay, thank you. Item number 9, the renewal of licenses not in compliance. Discussion and possible vote on the liquor, entertainment, outdoor licenses that are not in compliance with the returning of the renewal 2014-15 applications. The summons were sent to the following for an appearance before the council on this date. The first one being Adesso LLC, 1058 Charles Street, and that's for their liquor and entertainment. The clerk spoke with Mr. Blaze Maffio. He said he would not be renewing his license, so I'll entertain a motion to not renew Adesso liquor or entertainment license.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Lymansville Memorial VFW Post, 10,011, 354 Fruit Hill Avenue. This is for a liquor and entertainment license. Good evening. How are you tonight? Just state your name for the record and speak right into that microphone for us.
James Geyer, Post 10,011, Lymansville.
Thank you.
I'm Post Quartermaster and Adjutant,
Thank you.
and we had to show that the town would be the beneficiary of our a liability insurance, and I believe the town clerk has that form with them. It should have been faxed to him today, and we spoke on the phone, and he said that was done. And he said I had to appear here, so I don't know.
Yeah, the reason why we had asked you to come was because of the deadline for the renewal applications. So we appreciate you coming in. This is for their liquor and entertainment. I'm assuming your entertainment is maybe DJs when you have parties and things like
Maybe,
that?
Yes, it's maybe.
Yeah?
Yeah, not many. but-
Okay. All right. Yes. You got it. For the record, Councilman Warren's recusing. Does anyone have any questions for Jim?
Make a motion that we approve.
Second.
A motion has been made to grant, made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Lynch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
You're all set.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
L.A. Bailey's liquor and entertainment license. Is there anyone here representing L.A. Bailey's? How are you?
Good.
Just state your name for the record. and
Lori
speak-
Keough.
Say it again.
Lori Keough.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming in tonight. We summoned you because we didn't have your application
late,
back in
yes.
time. We really do that to protect you, because if it goes too long, then you
That's
don't
fine.
have one. Then we knock
That's
on
fine.
your door to say you can't
I know,
open.
I don't want that.
So, as far as the entertainment, I didn't get a chance to look at that. What type of entertainment do you have?
Hardly any. Karaoke, actually, we are not even doing that anymore, but I have an acoustic guy on Tuesdays, that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Things have been good down there. We haven't had anyone in, which is a good thing.
Thank God.
So, does anyone have any questions for Lori?
Motion to grant.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. Councilman
Is
Juicy?
the entertainment exactly the same? Is your entertainment going to be exactly the same as you put on your application last year?
Yeah, if less, actually less than
Was that
probably.
the same?
I didn't get to see it. That's why I just asked her because it
Karaoke.
came in
Well,
after.
we should check that out. It must be exactly the same unless, then we have to vote on.
Okay, we can put that in
I think it's
the,
karaoke that I put, because that's basically what I do,
They
if
don't
I
do
do
anything.
anything.
No, I know, I'm
Yeah,
just saying, just
I know what you're saying, though, yeah.
Yep. Okay. A motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? The ayes have it. And a second motion just to review the entertainment license to make sure it remains the same. Is there a motion?
I make that motion.
A second?
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Great. Thank
Thank you.
Take care. The New Deal Club for their liquor license, we had the landlord of this establishment come in last month at 349 Renasquatucket Avenue. They told us that they were vacated the building and they were not conducting any business. So unless there's someone here from the New Deal Club this evening, I will entertain a motion to not renew the license for the New Deal.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Which one? Carries. I don't think they're here. Did you get that? No, this one right here.
Oh, you mean the next?
The next one. Yeah.
Yeah, but he made the motion before.
Yeah, it's on the next one. I do sometimes. Okay, the next item on the agenda, Councilman Audiello is recused. Cary Seafood Incorporated, DBA Cary Seafood. Is anyone here to represent Cary Seafood this evening? Okay, if there's no one here to represent Cary Seafood, we did send out the summons. No one's here. I'll entertain a motion to not renew the license.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion's been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. The next item, MAP Entertainment LLC, DBA Bailey's Pub, 1910 Smith Street. This is for the liquor and entertainment license. Good evening.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michael Paserno.
Would you say your name again?
Michael Paserno?
Thank you. Okay. We just received all your paperwork in. Thank you for coming in. As you heard me say to the last person, we just want to make sure that you have everything so we don't come knocking on your door. If you just let me know a little bit about your entertainment license. What type of entertainment do you have?
Everything's the same. I have karaoke once a week, and I have a band, an acoustic band every Saturday night.
That's not different from last year.
No, it's not.
I reviewed that particular liquor license application. Does anyone have any questions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emily's Family Style Restaurant for their liquor license. Is anyone here representing Emily's? How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you.
Just speak very loudly in that microphone. Just state your name for the record, please.
Patricia Noriega?
Patricia
Noriega.
Noriega. Okay, we received your liquor license back. Everything looked fine on the application. You know why we called you in?
Yes.
There is a deadline.
Yep.
So we did that to protect you. If there's any questions for the liquor license for Emily's Family Restaurant, I'll entertain a motion to grant, subject to all necessary requirements.
So moved.
Second.
A motion been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. You're all set. Thank you. Good luck. The Florentine Grill Liquor and Entertainment including an outdoor license. The clerk had a phone conversation with the owner, Mr. Iannacilli. He said he was not going to renew his license. He was selling the building. So I will entertain a motion to not renew the liquor, entertainment, and outdoor license.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Lewis Quissett Country Club liquor license. Is there anyone here representing the country club? How are you tonight?
Very good, thank you. My name is Joseph Catadella. I'm the president of the executive committee, and I apologize for having all the stuff in late. And there we are.
That's okay. Like you heard me say to everybody else, we do that so it doesn't go without. So you always have a license, and we never knock on your door to say you don't have a license. So thank you for responding. I don't have any questions. You filled out the application.
Motion to approve.
A motion has been made and seconded. I do see someone's hand in the audience who wants to speak, so if you'd like to come up. Good evening.
Good evening.
I know your name, but you know you have to say it for the record.
My name is A. Raphael Lombardi, 375 Angel Road, also a unit owner at Lewis Quisett. And I find it curious that it's Lewis Quisett Condo Association doing business as Lewis Quisett Country Club. And a lot of our documents are consistently ink, even though the association docs do not have the ink. And I have been questioning that as to whether these are two juridic persons or different corporations and so forth. So I just wondered why. I asked Mr. Caltadella just a few minutes ago why there was no ink and why is there a DBA. I mean, it's a simple matter, but it's, you might say, an academic question why this was stated. So the property manager, who's present tonight, said to me that you have to ask the person who wrote that. So may I ask, simple question, why you have Lewis Quisett Condo Association, comma, DBA, Lewis Country Club, when most of this stuff, liquor, is consumed by the Lewis Quisett Country Club Golf Club, who identifies themselves as a separate corporation or a separate thing, yet we pay one income tax at the end of the year.
Okay, well, we can bring him back up, and I will ask him that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you be able
Could you
to
repeat
answer
the
that
question, please?
Mr. Lombardi wanted to know why you don't have an ink at the end of the condo association's name. As far as how you're, I'm assuming how you're registering it. It says Lewis Quisett Condo Association, DBA, Lewis Quisett Country Club. So I'm assuming Lewis Quisett Condo Association has an ink at the end of it, and he's asking why you don't have the ink at the end of it.
Okay, I cannot answer that. Our counsel can answer it. To the best of my knowledge, we are incorporated, and the liquor license is Lewis Quisett Country Club.
Madam President.
Okay.
He should just, what I would suggest is you just, before they pick up the license, have them check with Attorney Lombardi and just make sure that they got the right name.
Okay.
Because they probably should have this. You can have an unincorporated, all condo associations don't have to be incorporated, but if they are, he might want to just amend the application to the right name. And he might want to file a fictitious business name statement as well.
The application does say it.
Oh, yeah, so he's got the right name.
Right, I think it was maybe just the way it was posted.
But I would just make sure that they have a fictitious business name statement. Attorney Lombardi can straighten it out, but they're operating out of the Lewis Quisett Country Club, they should have a fictitious business name statement.
Okay.
But he's got the right name. On the agenda, a little different. He's got the right name.
This may be some clarification. The summons does say Inc.
Right. And the application is filled out, and it does say Association Incorporated.
Right.
Maybe the way it was just posted
I think
on the
it might-
agenda,
exactly,
it just
exactly.
said Lewis Quisett Condo Association. The application and legal counsel just verified it on the Secretary of State's. He did just make a recommendation that you may want to get in touch with legal counsel and file a fictitious business name. So, as a recommendation for
We will
that.
do that.
So, did we answer your question, Mr. Lombardi? You, Okay, well, as far as the Secretary of State, that's how it's listed on there.
Okay, yeah.
So we do have it the proper way, which was your question. It is, does say incorporated.
Okay, thank you. I just thought it was sort of unusual to have the DBA and all that.
No problem, good question.
I've been
It's there.
persistently asking for a clarification on this item, so I thought I'd have this to say. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I think we have a motion was made and seconded. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you for coming in tonight. Okay, so that's all the licenses. Item number 10, town services and purchases over $5,000. I'd like a discussion and a vote on all purchases and services provided to the town over $5,000. We're at the 6-month mark into our fiscal year, so I think it would be a good decision for us to review this. Budget season creeps up awfully fast, and when we start asking for information, it's always difficult to get timely. I think we should review what the town has spent to make sure we're spending properly, we're following all proper procurements, bidding practices, procedures. So I'd like to request this information, give it to the council, and also send it to the audit committee. I'd like to make a motion to request that any purchases, services, vendors, et cetera, over $5,000 get sent to the council and the audit committee, and I'd like the printout to be on the Munis system, not on a spreadsheet. The Munis system, which we've received before, it shows everything from our past finance director. Mr. Massaro had done it for us once before. So I'd like to entertain that motion.
So moved.
That's all the
A
stuff
motion
in-
has been made and seconded. Councilman Juicy?
That's all the stuff in the past 6 months.
Yes,
Okay.
for the fiscal year that we're in.
Yeah.
A motion was made by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilman Lynch. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Elliott Avenue, I'd like a discussion and a possible vote concerning an update regarding Elliott Avenue and surrounding streets and their flooding issues. I originally didn't think we had a letter back. We received it at the last hour here. I'd like to read it into the record. Dear Madam President and honorable town council members, the administration has received your communication dated November 24th, 2014, requesting that we go out for bid for proposal for drainage work on Elliott Avenue. Please be advised that this will not be addressed during the 2014-15 fiscal year due to the fact that there were no funds budgeted for this project. Sincerely, Mayor Charles Lombardi. I think everyone on the council knows that I've had this item on the agenda for maybe 7 months. The administration is well aware of the issue. We approved having an engineer go out there who's done a study, who has found that the responsibility lies within the town. If anyone goes over there, I'm sure Councilman Ordiello goes over there, it's right in our district. There's actually bubbling water out of the street, flooding. The neighborhood gets flooded. And to read a letter that says, we are not going to address this, I could think of several things that get fixed that haven't been budgeted for. So to say that you're not addressing something because it wasn't budgeted for, especially when we've talked about this for several months before budget season was even here, we were never notified how much it would even cost to fix it. So I don't feel that it's appropriate, especially if it is a health and safety issue within the neighborhood. I don't know if any other council people have gone to the neighborhood to see that they can use a boat in it on some of the streets over there, and we know that it's a problem. And I said I would keep it on the agenda every month until it got fixed. Well, it seems like the mayor doesn't want to fix it in this year, and I think that's wrong. We just had it down in your neighborhood, Councilman. They fixed that. Remember the complaint that came in front of us? They fixed it. That wasn't budgeted for. Where did that money come from? So, I don't know what the council,
The problem is the pitch of the road is wrong. And just so people have a clarification on what's going on there, if you look where the problem areas are located, and you look at the road, it's completely pitched in the wrong way. So the road really needs to be dug up. And you got about 10 houses at the bottom of that road that are getting flooded out consistently. And the yards are a mess, and it's really, I feel bad for the neighbors over there, what's going on. And the town has put some berms up, but that's not resolving the issue. The water goes right over that. So,
even the yards are flooding in the back. Miola Street, Elliott, the water rushes down, and we know, we have an easement through the backyard over there, and that's why we asked to get the study done from the engineer. If we ask to go out for a bid for proposal, if we don't go out, we'll never know how much it is, so we'll never even know how much it is to put in the budget for next year, which I'm not going to wait until next year, because we don't tell our residents who pay high taxes that we're going to wait when we have millions of dollars of surplus to fix something that we know is our fault. So we don't even know how much it is, and that's why we asked originally to go out to bid, so we could see how much it would cost. So I'm going to send a second request, unless anybody has a better idea, that in order for us to know how much it is, we at least have to go out to bid to ask. And then we can make a decision whether or not we have to use some of our surplus money and redirect it to fix a problem that we know has been on this agenda and has been a problem ever since I've been on this council for 4 years. So I'm going to entertain that motion to send another letter that we go out for a bid proposal to find out how much it will cost to resolve this neighborhood issue.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Lynch, seconded by Councilman Audiello and Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Item number 12 on the agenda. Myself and Councilman Warren requested discussion and a vote on the completion of sidewalks and road by the contractor and the procedure for releasing bond money on Azad Court. Is there anyone here tonight who lives on Azad Court? I did get an email from a Nicole. She wanted to come in and speak. This particular issue had some houses built, and they were required to take out a bond. And anytime there's a bond, in order for that bond to be released, they have to come back to this council. And we have to be told what steps they're at and what they've completed for the council to release any part of that bond. That didn't happen. It was just released. A good portion of the bond was released, about $60,000, and they never came to the council to release it. So there's approximately $20,000 left to complete cement sidewalks and the road. And this is going to be the second winter that the road hasn't been complete. They were waiting for gas lines to go in, so they didn't complete the road for last winter. From what I'm told, by not having the road completed by the contractor, our plows have a trouble plowing on this road without breaking our plows because of the condition of the road. So I spoke with David Westcott, our planning consultant, and he said that the contractor was notified about 2 months ago, and also the building inspector notified him that this road had to be paved before the plant closes, and that wasn't done. So the only thing that we can do, unless he gets a good week and the paving facilities stay open, he hasn't done it as of this point, I think we need to send a letter to the planning board, and CC all the planning members, and let them know that this particular project on Azad Court and the requirements that they made, which I do have the requirements, cement sidewalks and completion of the road, has not been completed by this contractor.
Madam President,
Yes.
why don't we send a letter to the contractor to get him in here? And have him explain to us why he hasn't paved the road?
I believe they've already sent it.
Instead of going through all this other stuff, let's get the guy in here that didn't pave the road.
Do both.
I mean, we'll stand him right there and let him explain to us why 2 years he hasn't paved the road. It's very simple. Who's the contractor? I don't even remember.
I believe it's Armin Cortalesso.
Who?
Armin Cortalesso.
Smokey?
Well, what's going to happen is, if we don't notify the planning board, and possibly if there's other things that are coming up with applications that he has, they may not consider something because one job hasn't been completed. There's another job that's just got completed before this one was even done.
No, I
So-
understand all that, but I'm just saying, if you get him in here, let him tell us why. Let's hear him.
And the plant's closed in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know,
What?
I know, it's too late now.
Right. The plant's
It's too
closed in
late.
2 weeks.
But I'm saying, at least you hear it right from the horse's mouth. He might
Right.
not even show up. Knowing him, he won't show up. He won't show up. But at least we sent him a letter. I mean, you do what you want. This is a suggestion.
Yep. Do you want to make a motion to send
I'll
the
make a motion.
contractor
I'll
a
make a
letter and
motion.
ask him to come in January?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. I'd like to make another motion to send a letter to the administration, the Planning and Zoning Board, and ask how the bond got released, and request a copy of the documents that were signed and who released the bond.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. And let's see. On that. Yeah, just another note. They did send a letter 2 months ago, Manning.
To the
The-
contractor?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Did he answer us?
Nope. So,
Send him a, can we send him a summons?
You can, the town charter says you can subpoena people, you can issue subpoenas if you want, but I gave her a recommendation, I think if you send him the letter, and then I think what you should do is to try to get his attention, take action on the bond. So it's a town, the bond, as you know,
Okay,
Councilman,
that's
the bond's
fine.
in the name of the town.
Right.
You tell the solicitor to file a claim with the bonding company. I think that hits him, because if he decides he wants to get another bond to do some other construction, he's gonna go back to his bonding company,
Yeah.
and say, wait a minute, you got a claim. At least if nothing else, we grab the 23, and now maybe you'll get his attention. We won't grab the 90, because we don't have the 90 anymore, we're gonna grab the 23.
We can grab that money and have another company pay it.
Cash bond? Oh, good. Tell the solicitor, it's apparently according to the town clerk, it's a cash bond. So I would send a letter to the solicitor, tell him to take action for the town to seize the cash.
okay, I'll make that in the form of a motion that will send a letter to the solicitor to take action on the bond, which is in the form of cash.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Councilman, I'll talk to Anthony about that.
Thank you.
I think then you get some control over the cash.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
at least if we got the money, we can always
Right.
hire somebody else to do the job.
Right. Well, hopefully the money that's left, because the majority of the bond was released, in the planning department, the planning guide, requirements, it says cement sidewalks. So cement sidewalks and asphalt, if it can be done for $21,000, which is left, that's why bonds don't get released without coming before the council.
Well,
So I don't know
you
how
can
that
find out
happened.
if somebody will bid on it or something. We'll see what the cost is.
Item number 13, Ivan Street Ballpark. We received a letter from Lynn Haley of 75 Ivan Street concerning issues about people using the Little League Ballpark on Ivan Street for their dogs not living in the neighborhood. Good evening. Just say your name for the record and talk
Lynn
loudly in
Halley.
there.
I'm very nervous, so.
Oh, that's
be patient
okay.
with me.
Don't be
I
nervous.
live on the corner of Ivan and Only, directly across from the ballpark. Over the last 3 years, since the summer of 2012, 2011, 2012, 4 years, my home has been inundated with flies. And this year, I noticed a woman in March driving her dog to the back field to walk it. And there's a clear posted sign on a pole that says no dogs allowed in the park. So I called the police. The police came, drove towards the building, stopped, apparently saw her. After that, I discussed it with the dispatcher, and he told me they knew who she was, would not give me her name. He said that the officer had spoken with her. I did not see him get out of his car. The next day, she was back, and it continued twice a day to this day. I don't believe she lives in the neighborhood. I don't know her. In the middle of March, I wrote the police chief about this, gave him her car license number, asked him what could be done. I received a letter back from Lieutenant Cassie. I have it in the letters that I submitted to you. I have copies if you need it. She informed me that she has informed each of our officers to notify everyone who may be walking their pets on the ball field that unfortunately exercising their pets on the field is not allowed. This has continued. Every time I call the police, first of all, they take anywhere from a half hour to several hours to respond, which I understand it's not a top priority. It's not a robbery or anything like that. But it's still an issue, and I think it needs to be taken seriously. It's becoming a health issue with me. Since writing the mayor, the ballpark manager came to my home when I was in my front yard and told me a story that she was allowed to bring her dog back there because there were geese on the field 2 years ago. I never saw geese. And for that to be an excuse to allow the dog to urinate and defecate where kids play is just wrong. It's a health issue.
Isn't that field locked?
It's supposed to be, and it's not. And that's another issue.
Madam President?
He approached me about 3 weeks after I wrote the mayor a letter and told me that if I don't like it, I should move.
Who said that to you?
The manager of the ball field. I find that extremely cruel.
Manny, who takes care of that down there?
I don't know his name. I'm sorry. I have PTSD and I have short-term memory.
Let me just ask Councilman Juicy. He might know.
That's North Providence East.
That's east, not down in the hole.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's privately owned, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
On Ivan Street?
yeah.
It's a private little league.
Little
That's the one
Leagues,
you see
those
from
are
the highway.
independent
146.
entities.
Right.
It's a beautiful field. We pay a lot of money to mow it every week, to collect garbage every week, to maintain lights. There is a working PA system for a Little League park. That seems excessive, but hey, if you guys want to pay for it, that's your business. I don't think it's
That's-
needed.
Lynn, I think that's a privately owned park.
It's now the North Providence Little League ball field.
Yeah, but it's not, I don't think, it's still a privately owned park.
We mow it, we maintain the garbage with our trucks, our people.
Is there any reason why we're mowing it?
Yeah.
Why would we do North Providence East and not North Providence West?
I have no idea. That's what I don't understand. That's why I asked, do we own that ball? Why they don't do North
Nope. I know North Providence West is its own entity.
Yeah.
East is the same way. They have a board that runs it.
Yeah. there's
It's
a
run through
board.
fundraising.
I thought East had the same thing.
Yeah. Raise them.
Oh,
Yeah, you're on that board, right? Yeah.
This is the gentleman.
oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me one second.
I apologize.
Hold
I-
on one second. Would you just state your name for the record, please?
My name's Raymond DeStephanis. How are you?
Hi.
Good. Sorry. The manager of the ball field is the ball field president. His name's Robert Douglas. I don't know if that's who you spoke to.
I don't know his name. I'm bad with
I've
names.
never met you, other than now. Sorry to hear about the problem. The town does not cut the lawn at the ball field. The East Little League maintains the field. The only time the town comes onto the field is when, we have a field day and we ask them to grab the garbage or to cut back trees, assist us with lighting. The only time they come onto the field, just like West, is when the organizations request aid, let's say.
I can tell you that I see trucks with North Providence on it drive in with equipment and mow the lawns. So I have to assume that it's North Providence doing it.
Well, I guess what we can do is, if it's as Ray
My
just
issue-
said,
Yeah,
that
your
it
issue.
was Robert Douglas, who is the president of the association, we can let him know of your concerns, which are definitely
knows.
valid. Well,
He
we're gonna
knows.
let,
He spoke to me twice.
okay,
Told me I should move. In my opinion, he needs to be fired.
well, what we're going to do, and I think as a council, we should probably send him a letter, letting him know that it's a concern of ours also, because, they shouldn't have the
They also should
dogs
be
in there.
locking those fields.
If, right.
And another possible solution to preventing people from going back there and using it illegally is to put a chain across the driveway so the people can't drive in there when they don't have access.
Well, let me ask a question. If it's a privately owned field, what right do we have to send them a letter to say you can't have dogs on it? If you think about
It's
it.
not just a letter, it's a sign.
No, I'm saying, I'm going to have, hold on one second. I'm going to have a discussion with my counsel here. If it's a privately owned field, it's maintained, and if we help out and you see people there, we'll take that issue as it comes. But if we don't own it, what right do we have to write a letter to Mr. Douglas to say you shouldn't have dogs on it?
Madam President?
Yes.
Let me get, is that one woman the only person?
No, sir.
There's a lot of people that bring dogs.
There's not a lot,
My
but there's
suggestion
enough.
would be, just send a letter to their board and ask them to please lock the field up. I don't think we got a right to tell them what to do.
Right, that's what
I
I'm...
think we should just send a letter asking them to lock the field up so that there's no access for dogs or cars.
Well, who put the sign there? Is the sign there by the person who runs the field?
From what I've been told by
It's,
the
I mean, if
police,
it's,
been
hold on one
ordinance.
second, please. If the sign is there by the person who owns the park, the Little League Association, well, if they're we're not the enforcing person of what's on the field, number one, so we
No.
can't tell them what to do on their
No, just ask
field.
them to please lock the park, because we've been getting a lot of complaints about dogs and everything, and the odor, that's all.
Okay. I don't have a problem sending a letter asking, I just didn't know who owned the field. So, that's what we can do, is as the council, we can send Mr. Douglas a letter requesting that he lock the park, and maybe it'll help.
Is he on the town payroll?
No.
Who, Mr. Douglas?
It's a
Yeah.
private entity, ma'am. He's not.
There's no pay involved.
I hope he's the one that I don't understand why he would go to the mayor after I write the mayor to discuss this, if he is not involved with the town. Because it was after my letters to the mayor that he approached me, which means the mayor conveyed the information to him. Another issue I have is that I'm sorry, I have to get my thoughts together. On Labor Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, as far as I know, that's holiday, which is holiday pay. There were 2 people with bobcats from the town of North Providence working on that ball field. Why are we paying double time and a half for holiday pay for a ball field?
I don't
When
think-
we have such economic
think we own
problems
too much.
these days.
What we can do is, we can send a couple of correspondences back and forth.
When I
We
let
can ask the
mayor, I don't get
DPW.
answers. I've asked why, I don't get answers. I've asked for budgets, I don't get answers.
I think what we need to do is have a conversation with representatives from the Little League, convey your issues, and see if we can come to some resolution by the time spring comes.
I hope
Is that
so.
fair?
That's more than fair.
Okay.
I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Any other issues?
I just want you to know that I'm a disabled veteran. I live a quiet life. And this manager called the police on me in September after I had asked a woman to roll up her car because I didn't want water to get in her car because she parked by my house. I was watering my lawn and flowers, and her window was down. And when I asked her to do that, she thanked me, and I made a stupid comment because there was parking, ample parking across the street. And for the past 2 years, people open their doors and break my fence post caps. I have PVC fence posts. So I said to her, I don't understand why people don't use the parking across the street. And she went ballistic. Started yelling, ranting and raving that her husband parked the car. I just backed off, went in the house. An hour and a half later, the North Providence police came to my door. When I asked him if he had a problem, he said no. So I said, good, thank you very much, and I closed the door. I believe that manager called to harass me. I believe his people are leaving garbage in front of my house intentionally. I have found condoms, all types of dog feces in bags. It's got to come to a stop. I don't want to be in battle with this man. I just want to live quietly.
Right. We
And-
understand your situation, and we will see that we have a conversation with him, address your concerns, and bring this to resolution.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.
And a good holiday.
You as well, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to make a motion, Manny?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we send a letter to the Little League East and ask whatever questions we feel.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All of those in favor?
Aye.
All of those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, thank you. Item 14, Councilman Audiello requests a discussion and a vote concerning the beautification of land in the Lymansville section of North Providence. Councilman Audiello.
I'm going to make a motion to remove this from the agenda. The people who asked me to put this on can't come again tonight, so until I can get a commitment from them, I'll ask for this to be removed.
Okay. Item number 15, tax exemptions for elderly, military, and vehicles. Councilman Warren requests a discussion and possible vote on tax exemptions for the elderly, military, and vehicles. Councilman Warren.
Madam President, I want to make a motion to send a letter to the finance director, the tax assessor, and the tax collector to ascertain how much money the town would lose if we raise the present property tax exemption for persons 65 and older by $5,000. 2 years ago, I did receive correspondence from the tax assessor, and it said that the town would lose approximately $8.8 million. Well, it was just a figure. There was no way how they came at this figure. I thought it was quite a large figure at the time. So in the letter, I would like to have them break it down, how they came about the $8.8 million 2 years ago, and has the situation changed at all?
So that would be for,
65 property tax exemption from the present to be increased by $5,000 for anybody 65 and older.
So that'll go from 10 to 15.
right.
Correct.
It's at 10, yeah.
And then you want to do the same thing with the military.
Well, the military, that should be POWs, because the military does get an exemption, but the POWs, upon my research, get the exact same exemption as a regular veteran. Since I ain't been a war veteran, I think the POWs have sacrificed a great deal more than the average war veteran. So I'd like to see a separate exemption for the POWs, which is greater than the present military one. That you're not going to be able to ascertain because we don't know how many POWs are in the town.
Right. You
Yeah,
can
so
only
you-
assume that a military person is a POW, and what percentage of the military people who get the exemption would be POWs also. You wouldn't be a POW but not have been in the military getting the exemption, right?
So, correct.
Right, okay.
We wouldn't know that until the POWs request the exemption.
And on the vehicles, what do you want to do with
The vehicles, same wording as the first one with the property tax, except how much the town would lose if we raise the present vehicle exemption to $2,500. Nothing to do with 65 or older. This is for everybody in the town. Again, to the finance director, tax assessor, and tax collector.
I think we should also ask for the vehicles, if we were to implement the depreciation schedule, which we're one of 6 communities that doesn't use it, and 33 communities do use the depreciation schedule, and we don't. We have the software program that allows it, that we just received in April, the Vision Opal software, and we haven't used the depreciation schedule since 2009, when 33 other municipalities use it. And I think we should look into using the depreciation schedule in addition to the 2,500. Because you have to remember, if we just increase the exemption, we're not taking care of the value problem. The value problem is what the issue really is. So no matter if I have a 1990 vehicle and you have a 2014 vehicle, they both get valued at 100%. And I would almost guarantee my 1990 at 100% isn't worth what they're saying it's worth. So if you use the depreciation schedule, you're probably only gonna get valued at 78% of that 1990 vehicle. If you give a $2,500 exemption, that 2014 gets 2,500 and the 1990 gets 2,500. So we can look at both scenarios, which I agree with you, but we need to see if we use the depreciation. I think that's about $670,000. I mean, we asked about that before, but now all it is a click on, click off button. It's a filter that they have. You either put it on or you put it off, and it can give you the amount right away. So, if you want to do both, can we do both? Okay. So, you want to put it in the form of a motion?
Make a motion to send the letter to the tax collector, finance director, and tax assessor in reference to increasing how much money we'd lose if we raise the present property exemption for persons 65 and over by $5,000 from the $10,000 present to $15,000. The second part of that motion, how much would the town lose if we raise the present vehicle exception by $2,500 and using the depreciation schedule that the other 33 cities and towns are using? So moved.
And you want to put in,
Second.
you want to put in there also about the POWs, right?
Well, like I said, POWs for the exemption to raise by 5,000, but we can't request the information. Make it part of, you're right, Manny, make it part of the motion for POWs.
Yeah, right,
To
yeah.
raise the present exemption by $5,000 above the
Create a
present
new
veterans exemption.
Create a new exemption.
Correct. Which
For
has to be
POWs
a
from
minimum
10 to-
$5,000 higher than the veterans exemption.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Manny.
So a motion was made by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilman Lynch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Councilman Warren. 16, tax collections. Councilman Warren requested discussion and possible vote on tax collection of back taxes owed to the town. Councilman Warren?
Madam President, in conjunction with your assistance, which I appreciate, we are looking at ways to have the town be able to collect in an easier fashion back taxes on everything from vehicles to property tax to water and sewer. Upon our research, came across in the Department of Revenue, Title 42, Section 42-142-7, collection of debts. There's a program called the Income Tax Refund Offset Program. Surprisingly, there's only 2 cities and towns that use it currently now in Rhode Island. The first one was East Providence. The second one to get on board is Woonsocket. Upon doing some research, this is a free service that the state offers to all the municipalities. You sign up. There are guidelines. You have to, like any collection, you have to send letters out 30 days in advance before you send it up to the state for a liability that they're in debt. East Providence alone, just by sending these letters that you're delinquent in taxes, the first year they collected $2.9 million. That was just on the warning letters that your income tax is going to be seized by the state and turned over to the town for the debt you owe the town. So that $2.9 million only cost the postage stamp to East Providence, which they collected. The state, for the ones that ignored the letter, collected almost $250,000, $214,000 for East Providence. Woonsocket in the first year collected $22,000. So it's a great program for all the cities and towns, and the law states we can use it for any outstanding liability, such as property tax, motor vehicle taxes, municipal water and sewer. So I would like the first motion to send a letter to the finance director, the tax assessor, and tax collections office asking if they use the Vision software system, which is what the state uses. And if town of North Providence uses that, it's very easy interface with the state.
So moved.
Second.
If we don't have that, no?
Then we have to, it takes about a year to switch and get that software to interface with the state.
Can we get that from the state for nothing?
I don't know about that. That might be a cost to the town.
What was it, what was the question?
Can we get this
Vision
Envision
software.
Vision
software
software.
from the state for nothing?
Does anyone know if we have it?
I know that,
Currently?
that's what I gotta send the letter. So I make the motion. Make the motion to send it to the tax assessor, finance director, and tax collections office, asking if they use the Vision software system.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
This, in conjunction with that, Madam President, there's a second motion I would like to make at this time. Until we get that information, I would like to keep this on the agenda for January. This way to give the town council solicitor ample time to make up the appropriate resolution for this.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Fiola. Anything else, Councilman Warren?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Just like to thank you again for your assistance.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Sounds like a plan. Okay, anything, did you have any other motions on that?
No.
Those, okay. I just, did you give him the 42? Nope, got it. 17, Lexington Avenue, Councilman Warren requests discussion and possible vote on painting a yellow line down Lexington Avenue due to traffic complaints and conditions. Councilman Warren?
Madam President, before I make the motion, just a little history on this. I received numerous phone calls in reference to the traffic situation on Lexington Avenue, and I don't know if the rest of my council members were aware. There was a very serious accident like 4 weeks ago. A vehicle traveling on Benjamin tried to beat a van coming down Lexington from Little Quistit that way and tried to go over to the other side, which is a one-way. Apparently they didn't make it. They split out, they went into the guy's property and hit the wall. So at this time, I would like to make a motion, then fled the scene. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to send a letter to the police department asking if they could do a traffic study for the traffic on Lexington and the side streets going across Lexington to see if we can avoid this in the future.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
Now, Bill, you want to paint a yellow line on the north side of Middle Spring Avenue?
I think the line should go the whole length.
So you want to go from right across?
Lincoln Line, North
All the way
Providence,
down to-
all the way down to Douglas.
All right.
Because the road's very, well, everybody knows it's a
Yeah.
country road and there's not a lot of room, so a lot of people, I mean, I live off that road too.
I think you should clarify that, though. Make sure that the yellow line you want
The full
is from
length.
the Lincoln line to Douglas Avenue.
Correct.
Who does, did you make that in a motion? Oh, for the line.
I got a motion to make a traffic study and
Yeah. Who actually does the line? Do we have the equipment for DPW to do the line?
No.
We'd have to hire a company?
Right, and they just finished striping everything in the area too. So
Really?
they're going from here, the contractor.
Well, I mean, you can make a motion and
Right.
send it to the DPW director and the mayor, CC the mayor, and let them know. They might not know there was an accident.
There was several. I witnessed the aftermath myself of one in the summer. It was horrific.
Well, send a letter to the administration and asking them.
So as part of the traffic study, I also asked, well, I make a motion to send a letter to the mayor and the DPW asking if we could have a yellow line painted the length of Lexington Avenue.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Warren, seconded by Councilman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Councilman Warren. 18, Rosner Avenue. We received a letter from Michael Mooney for the possible vote and approval on recommendation for engineering work to be done in reference to Rosner Avenue, Thelma Streets, and neighboring streets. Councilwoman Brady has this item on the agenda, and we also received this on the desk tonight if everybody wants to get it out. This right here. Councilwoman Brady?
Thank you, Madam President. This item is on the agenda to vote to approve a traffic study for the streets mentioned due to safety issues with tractor-trailer trucks for the streets mentioned. At our last meeting, we voted to send a letter to the purchasing director with the 3 proposals for the traffic study, asking him to select one of those companies. You do have the letter from the purchasing director recommending Commonwealth Engineers and Consultants Incorporated for this project. This company will bill at the Rhode Island Master Price Agreement number 494 rates and will not exceed the amount stated in their proposal of $6,887.09. I make a motion to approve a purchase order in the amount of $6,887.09 for Commonwealth Engineers and Consultants Incorporated to conduct a traffic study for Rosner Avenue, Thelma Street, and the surrounding streets. And these funds will come from the town council's budget, as we had mentioned when we discussed this at our last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Audiello and Councilman Warren. Yeah, Councilman Lynch. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Item number 19, the raising of fowl. Councilwoman Brady requested discussion and possible vote regarding the zoning official's response to the council's request for a review of Article 2, Section 203N of the zoning ordinance, banning raising of fowl in residential areas and possibly amending the section to allow for such. Councilwoman Brady?
Thank you, Madam President. We sent a letter to the zoning official back in June asking her to give us an opinion on possibly amending this ordinance. Since then, the clerk has made several calls. He sent an email asking for the zoning official to respond to that letter. She did not respond to our request, and now she has resigned. As this is a zoning ordinance, I believe zoning and planning should be part of this process. We really can't move forward without recommendations from these departments. I'd like to make 2 motions. The first, for the clerk to send the same letter that was sent to the zoning official in June to the acting zoning official as a second request for this opinion, and for the acting zoning official to send a written communication back to the council in 10 days.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Fiola. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it.
And the second motion is to ask the resident who brought this matter before us to bring his plan to our planning department for review and opinion, and for the planning department to send a letter to the town council and the clerk with those findings.
Okay.
Second.
A motion's been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Giusti. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Close.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if anyone wanted to comment from the public.
I see Mr. Thorpe is here. I'm not sure if he had anything that he wanted to add. Good evening. Just state your name for the record.
Hi, yes, my name is Tim Thorpe, and
You can take that right out.
so since we're asking for the law to change, I feel like just taking a minute to make sure that we cover the basis by which we come to a request that we think is reasonable and fair and good for the town. And I say this with full respect for what you do. You have to listen to really both sides of something where people are expressing what they think and come to a conclusion about what's the right law for us to have and something that we can have for the next 20 or whatever years, right? But one of the things I just want to do is make sure that I take a moment to cover what I feel are the reasons why this is an important change. So first of all, I just want to cover my intention, which is I'd like to have a clean coop in my yard where I can raise chickens. I have 3 small kids. I think they'd have a blast with it. And I'd like to harvest their eggs. It would be hens in particular, not roosters. I believe that food quality is a huge issue. The U.S. produces 90 billion eggs per year, which means if they can find a way to save a penny per egg, they they could profit by $900 million. So how does the quality of eggs stand up against that kind of economy? And I think that what you can see if you look at home-raised eggs is that they're superior in color, freshness, flavor, and nutrition. The local food movement is very vocal about the importance of having food raised locally, and in one regard, it has to do with risk. Scientists have warned that the U.S. weather systems are changing and that we will see more severe storms. We all know how there's kind of a local joke that before a storm, you got to get your milk and bread. And we know how like Shaw's and Stop and Shop can be completely empty the day before. In the letter that I handed you from the Department of Environmental Management, they mentioned that there's a well-accepted and researched notion that we have 3 days of food supply in a given town. But these storms aren't just like some kind of out there thing. In Buffalo, they started their winter with 6 feet of snow. That was like last week, I think, right? In 2012, Hurricane Sandy clobbered the East Coast, and they were partly saved in New York due to this kind of local food initiative. The pizza places that had wood-fired and coal-fired pizza stayed working while the grid went down. I just found out about that. I thought it was really interesting. And then we all know the nor'easter that hit New England on Halloween of 2011 left 3 million people without power. Same situation. You couldn't get out in some towns and districts. There was a major ice situation. So we hope not to face any of these storms, but being allowed to raise food on our land is critical to lowering the risk of a failed food supply. Additionally, just in terms of heritage, we are a small New England town. Our state bird is a chicken. It's the Rhode Island Red. And our founding fathers raised food on their land, even though they could have their servants bring them food or whatever. Thomas Jefferson had chickens at Monticello. So the final points that I'd like to make are that I'd like that our laws correlate with the education that we give our children. My children are taught at their school how to incubate eggs, and they do it in the elementary school. They incubate eggs into baby chickens to teach them about agriculture. And, you know, we don't teach them to do anything else that's illegal, right? So we shouldn't be teaching them how to do agriculture without having some legality behind actually doing it at home. And then lastly, when it gets into science and practice, the recommendations that we brought forward to the town and that you asked us to bring forward to the planner are supported by evidence that is from the Department of Environmental Management, and that backyard chicken laws are not new. 80% of major cities have laws in support of backyard chickens, and in Rhode Island, laws exist in Woonsocket, Newport, Warwick, Providence, Johnston, Barrington, and Coventry. So our town is small, and we live right next to each other in some areas, so we need laws that govern that correctly. But I think you'll see that if you could actually turn to the DEM letter, on the second page there's a red line on one of the things that points out that the good laws, according to the DEM, are the ones that clarify. I'm sorry, I gave you all my copies. I should have kept one for myself. But do you see the red line?
It's right here.
Madam President, could you read that line? I just don't have it in front of me.
It's on the second page. It says, "The better constructed ordinances are those that address limits on the number of birds, construction of bird housing, property line setbacks, sanitation, and noise. We generally support ordinances where those issues are sufficiently addressed. Therefore, on behalf of the Division of Agriculture, we strongly urge passage of an ordinance that will allow for the reasonable raising of chickens by the citizens of the city of North Providence, and are happy to work with the council and planning board, town staff, and citizenry to address concerns or answering questions in this regard. Kenneth Ayers, Chief of Rhode Island DEM.
Thank you.
We will forward that also to the ordinance committee, to the planning board, and to the zoning board.
Official.
Yeah.
We're going to be sending those letters out.
Okay, thank you very
Okay?
much.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions for me?
I just want to apologize that it's taken this long for a hearing. We had asked, Councilwoman Brady asked in June from the zoning official, and we just feel that we need to work with everybody on this. The whole town, planning, zoning, we don't know if it's zoned properly or, you know, we have questions. And they didn't get back to us. And she's resigned, so we're waiting for another officer. So Councilwoman Brady, you heard, is asking for the acting officer. So we're trying to move it forward for you. So I just apologize it's taken so long.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to reiterate that I know the town is small, and I hear my neighbors' leaf blowers, I hear their kids play, I smell their barbecues. I mean, we're all in this together, and I want this law to respect my neighbor and keep the town clean and safe and healthy for everyone. So, you know, I'm not just making this up. These are real things that if people want to do them, I don't think they should be illegal. And I think that townspeople can respect each other's privacy and liberty, and we can come up with a law that's different than what we have, that follows the guidelines that the DEM put forward. So I hope that that can be respected by the council and the town.
Great. Councilman?
In your research, through the other cities and towns, are you aware how many chickens an individual can have and maintain?
I've done research on the Providence law. So the first thing that they do is they set the minimum size and the distance.
The size of the coop?
The size of the
bird?
of the owner's land. So for instance, if you have a postage stamp property under 3,000 square feet of land, you can't have a chicken coop. I don't know the exact number. I think it's 3,800 square feet. The second thing you need is free land a certain distance from the border of your neighbor's property. So let's say you came up with 15 feet away from the border of the property. So then you have to do something to measure that out. Then what Providence gives you is over the minimum size of land, you can have one chicken per 800 square feet of property over the minimum, up to a maximum of 8 chickens. So the coop requirements remain the same, but the maximum amount of chickens that you can have depends on the size of your lot.
So with the maximum amount of chickens,
yep.
Are you aware of what the maximum amount is for the whole city? For your parcel, if you had the biggest parcel and the biggest amount, X amount of chickens you can have, 10, 15?
In Providence, it's 8.
8. Okay, and with 8, are you aware if that falls into the federal jurisdiction under the agricultural laws in getting any exemptions or anything like that?
Farming?
You follow what I'm saying? Yes.
I don't know the answer to that, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I think it remains residential and not commercial
Right.
farming, so.
Right, so what I'm getting at is, if you have, in some of the rural districts, the more livestock, chickens, livestock, et cetera, that you have, the higher your exemptions can go in the agricultural world.
You mean like tax exemptions for
There's
land?
a lot of different benefits, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if it has another effect on the community along with just raising chickens. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, and I could look into that for you some more. I heard of no effect with taxation on income tax in the surrounding towns in my research so far. Do you know of any?
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Karen Hartshorn.
Would you please say your name again?
Karen Hartshorn. Okay. If the maximum limit was set at 8, it wouldn't matter what size your lot was, because that's the maximum. And egg production on 8 chickens would probably average somewhere between 6 to 8 per day. So even something at that rate, you might be able to sell at a farmer's market, but that would probably be the extent. So you wouldn't be able to have any farm
That's a-
exemption on that at all.
That's a business though, isn't it? Now, when they start selling them,
Yeah, you wouldn't, we would probably put a restriction on retail sales within the ordinance that we would propose in front of planning.
Right.
It's a lot of cholesterol.
I'm sorry?
It's a lot of cholesterol.
I have friends that raise them and give me the chickens, I mean, the eggs.
The eggs, yep.
And
Yep.
you'd be surprised how many people do it,
yeah, I know, we
Yeah.
get them all.
you know?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised.
Right, right. Can I just make a couple comments?
Yes.
While I'm up here? Okay. Like Tim had said, there's a couple of adjoining towns to North Providence that have already set up backyard chicken ordinances. Johnston and Providence, of course, and then 2 towns beyond that, Woonsocket and Warwick. So basically, this puts North Providence kind of right in the middle of a Rhode Island local food movement, which I'm sure you're all are familiar with. And it's gaining in popularity, and it's participated in by people from all walks of life. One of the advantages of perhaps passing a backyard chicken ordinance that's comprehensive to North Providence, to the views of the city for the vision of its future, taking into consideration our districts and our property sizes and such. It could also mean additional business opportunities and possible revenue back to the town. You know, people will be buying supplies for, you know, keeping chickens or growing their own food or whatever, and, you know, et cetera. Also, like Tim said, Ken Ayers from the Department of Environmental Management and also Dr. Scott Marshall, the state veterinarian of the Division of Agriculture, they've been really supportive in all the ordinances that have already passed. They gave us a letter, and they also gave us another letter just the other day. So, another point is, one of the concerns I know is that as soon as an ordinance is passed, everyone's going to want chickens. That probably isn't going to happen. Many of you, I'm sure, have driven over down Smith Street, and I'm sure you don't see chicken coops in everyone's yard, or over on George Waterman Avenue. You're not going to see coops in Johnston's backyards either. Basically, you know, even if someone does want it and goes to the extent of having everything measured, it's a really good chance that they may not have the land available to do it. They might be too close to their property lines. The chicken coop, once it's measured out, may be too close to their own home. They may not be able to do it. One of the things I found about the ordinance that we're looking at, it's pretty vague, because it prohibits livestock and farm animals within any zone of North Providence, but in other zoning ordinances there are exceptions. So that particular ordinance is just a little vague, and it seems to be lumped into a whole bunch of other old-fashioned backyard activities that are no longer done, like glue manufacturing, creosote processing, tanning leather, or curing fish. So it's all in that one ordinance. So what we were looking to do is put an exception in that ordinance, you know, with the exception of backyard chickens, and then designing an ordinance with the help of planning and zoning and the town council to craft something that's specific to North Providence. Not just pulling an ordinance and saying, let's use this one, but looking at all the ones that have passed in the past couple of years and crafting one just for North Providence by itself. Finally, I think part of the process is to put to rest some misinformation about chickens. I know, talking to several officers, that they've gotten some very interesting emails or phone calls in the past 6 months. They're not disease carriers. They don't attract rats. If you practice regular upkeep and normal sanitary practices, keep your chicken coops enclosed, keep your chickens enclosed, they really have no more sanitation issues than keeping up litter boxes. In fact, probably less, because when you clean your litter box, you're going to wear gloves, you're going to wash your hands. When you clean your chicken coop, you're going to wear gloves and wash your hands. And with a note of humor, in other words, don't kiss your chickens, and you won't get sick. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hartshorn.
Okay, we're both short. Hi.
Hi there.
I'm Kathy Herview. Hi,
Good evening,
Alice.
Kathy.
I have a different take of the chickens. I've lived in this town now for 34 years, owned a home here, and in May of 2012, I had a bad experience with backyard chickens because my next-door neighbor decided to illegally put some in his yard. And his chicken coop was against his fence, which was exactly 6 feet away from my bedroom window. So I had the lovely, I didn't know what it was at first, why I was smelling a really bad odor. I thought perhaps I had a plumbing problem. I thought an animal had died in my yard. And then I realized that he had like 5 or 6 chickens plus a rooster, and that was the weird sounds I had also been hearing. I have the right not to live next to a barnyard. I live in North Providence. I chose not to live in a rural community. And quite honestly, if I lived in a rural community, the other houses would be far enough away that I wouldn't have chickens 6 feet away from my bedroom window. The reality is the majority of houses in North Providence are very small lots, and we're very close to each other. I've done a lot of reading online. This is a new trend, this urban homesteading. And while Mr. Thorpe, is it? Okay, sorry. Makes a point for, that we had a rich farming history in North Providence. Well, yeah, that was a long time ago, as was most of New England. The reality is today is that we have a lot of people living right on top of one another, and I choose not to have chickens living on the other side of the fence 6 feet away from my bedroom window. One of the readings that I've done about chickens, at the most, they have a 3-year egg-laying span. And that's fine. So what are you going to do with the chickens when they're not laying eggs anymore? Are you going to slaughter them? There's no retirement homes for chickens. I was here back in June when this was up for discussion, and I gave the council some paperwork. I did a lot of internet research on this. And, a lot of people talk about they want to do the urban farming because they have, issues of health, quality of the food that we get. Absolutely, I understand that. But you know what? Just over the line in Johnston, there's Buffoni's Farm and Stamp Farm, and they make an excellent product, and they're very cost effective. Because quite honestly, I can't see where the cost to put in the coops and properly raise the chickens is going to save you on the cost of a dozen eggs at the local market, or even at Buffoni's or Stamp Farms. In the article that I read last year, you made some comment, 9 meals to anarchy. I don't know if you were misquoted or not in the newspaper. I don't know. It just kind of struck me, and quite frankly, to me, if we have a thing where anarchy ensues, I think that someone's just going to steal your chickens. I have just read a lot of things, and one of the things I read was a blog by this woman that raises backyard chickens, and she said absolutely most people shouldn't have them because they don't know the realities, that sometimes when you get these things, you order them online, you get roosters. You're not assured of getting hens. And then what are you going to do when you have a rooster? Maybe you're not allowed to have a rooster, or the rooster's not going to lay the eggs for you. So that's my take on it, and I just wanted to put in my 2 cents, and I just don't think that North Providence is the right community to have backyard chickens. And also, one other comment while I'm thinking of it, at the time when this happened to me, I was at a party, and I was talking to someone from Providence that her husband had chickens, and he had them in the basement of their house. So even with laws in place and stipulations, you're still going to have people that are going to do illegal things. So it's just, and what's it going to cost North Providence as a community at a time when we're looking at, trying to cut costs everywhere? How are we going to police this? What's it going to cost us to police this? I just don't think it's a good idea. So thank you very much for listening to me. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
For Mr. Thorpe. Mrs. Herview just mentioned that the egg laying expectancy of a hen is 3 years. Is that true?
I've heard similar things, yes.
And what do you do with the chicken?
So Buffoni's Market, they can sell you a laying chicken in the spring, and you can bring it back to them in the fall, and they'll slaughter it for you, and then you can make cook a van with it if you want. I don't know what people individually want to do, but the standard practice is to buy either like these little incubated tiny chickens, which she's right, sometimes they do mail roosters to you. But you can start with that, but you have to wait a year before they start laying, and then you have to do something with them as they get old. Just the same way with, some people like to keep them until they die naturally as pets, essentially, and other people are more practical about the farming aspects of it and would just take them to Buffoni. But the law that we put forward bans slaughtering, and the law that we put forward would ban 6-foot coops from your neighbor's yard. I think 20 feet is what we are suggesting, and that would only make it available to fairly large properties. If you need to put a coop almost the size of this, half of this stage, 20 feet from any part of your neighbor's property, that you have to have a pretty big piece of yard. So
So the law you put forward opposes slaughtering?
yes, it prohibits slaughtering.
Okay.
Prohibits slaughtering on your property, you're saying?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
It prohibits roosters slaughtering, and it provides rules about what kind of cleanliness you have to keep of the coop, what kind of coops meet the requirements that would prevent, hawks from coming in and predators from coming in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions for me?
I'm all set.
No, thank you, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all once again for your time. I know we were thorough.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thorpe. 20, Mr. Lombardi, we received a letter requesting to speak regarding the following requests. Okay, just state your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is A. Raphael Lombardi.
Okay, the first item we have is you want a follow-up commentary regarding the town planner's finding regarding Gibbs Street encroachment on Angel Road. Did you receive the information from the planner?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's as much as the council has received also, that information. And as far as any action we are taking, I believe the recommendation was that we would need a surveyor to go over and look at that piece of property to see if there was an encroachment. So we haven't gotten that far yet because we had a short span of time from when we got that to now, from the last meeting to now. So I don't have any information for you. I don't know if any council people have information for you on that.
Okay.
No? So can we continue that?
Well, as I said on my request, I'd like to make a comment, a little commentary on this. It was a very well done report. At a point of order, though, the last time I understand you asked the zoning official to look into this matter, and I think the zoning was also in question at another occasion. And I was informed that this family was given a citation, but somehow or other it fell through the cracks. The statement by Mr. Westcott says it's not clear on the ground precisely where the lot boundaries are located. A number of years ago, I had a friend who was a professional surveyor, and when you have a fence put up, you get a surveyor. And the owner of 8 Gibbs has a very extensive fence. The sign is still on it, State Fence Company. There must be something. It's very obvious that they're way over beyond the line. If you had a long string, if you just tied it to one end of the, fix it to one end of the state fence that belongs to the 8 Gibbs owner, and go down to Pope Street there and line it up with St. Anthony's little fence that they have or whatever, and even the street, you can see that the tiers of the...
I think we all saw it, Mr. Lombardi, in the picture, and we understand that.
Yeah.
But like I said at the beginning, we haven't been able to do too much to take the next step for it because of the short amount of time from when we got the letter and when we had our next meeting. So could we continue that?
Yeah, I'm
number
just
one
saying that
until-
Mr. Lynch, my last conversation about this problem initially was that it was on the mayor's desk and that an engineer was supposed to make a determination on whether or not it should be a one-way. Okay? Then there was no question about whether it was an encroachment. So now I'm bringing forward this encroachment, which is very obvious, and if the people are in violation, they can pay for the surveyor. It's a very simple matter. How can anyone just encroach on, 6 feet or more, okay, and get away with it all these years, unless perhaps these people were related to the late Congressman John E. Fogarty, and maybe they got away with it. And so past practice, I don't know. But it seems very, very obvious. Mr. Westcott makes it clear that there is a safety issue here for accidents. There is no room for pedestrians to walk, and very narrow. The road is poor. There's one sign that says no parking. How ridiculous. Now, and that's on one side where the trees are. So I guess I can park on the other side, and when there's a funeral, or during school traffic or whatever. And this is a very ridiculous situation, but I know you want to get on it. It's getting late.
No,
But I
it's
just
not that
thought-
it's getting late on that. I just don't think any of us had time from when we got the letter to now to give you an additional answer.
I know, it's been a short time since the last meeting. Deja vu almost here.
Right.
All right, okay.
So I think, I saw you twice in 2 weeks.
Huh?
That's really, I've seen you twice in 2 weeks.
That's-
Just
that's too
about.
much.
No, that's just close, I didn't get a chance to do all the homework, but I do have good news for you on number 2.
Oh, great.
Because I did do something for you on my way up to go visit my mom.
Oh, great.
I called Chief Tamburini for you,
Oh, great.
the chief of police in Johnston.
Good for you.
And we had a very nice conversation, and he is welcoming you in.
Wonderful.
I have his own private number for you, which I'll give to the clerk, and you can get tomorrow. He said, welcome, so you can go and see the facility that you've been asking us for.
Yes.
He said he will take you wherever you want to go in his department.
Thank you. I appreciate that little gesture
Okay.
because I'm like, Benjamin Netanyahu. I just need to see the evidence.
Yep.
You say that that's done, yeah, but I just want to see the evidence.
No, that's fine. He
Yeah.
was very welcoming. So if you,
Oh, good.
I actually left the number in my car. I'll give it to the clerk tomorrow. You can call and he'll give you that phone number.
Excellent. Well,
Okay.
thank
So
you.
I did do something
Thank you.
because I couldn't get to number 1.
Very
Now
good.
number 3.
Now, number
The
3.
follow-up on increasing the visibility and decreasing the surveillance between 585 and 589 Woodard Road. Surveyor's findings pending.
Right. And I have, being the kind of person I am, this morning at just about 8:45, I spotted 2 women walking side by side right around that corner.
You're taking pictures of women now? You're taking pictures of women now, Raphael?
Yeah, I'm at risk, but
Wow.
I'll do it for the sake of everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Here these 2 girls, they're walking down side by side, just around the curve, absolutely blind, going around that curve.
Because it's a
You know?
very narrow curve. And they were trying to walk down the side and he's saying at the curve.
Right at the tree.
Just right at the tree. Couldn't be better staged. I didn't pay them for anything to do this for me. It just so happened. So again, this also has to do with the fences and the surveyors. And the town of North Providence doesn't seem to be interested in having sidewalks. On Colton Drive, by the way, where that horse hitch post was, that there was an accident there, I revisited that today, and I measured, there was a sewer cover there, actual sewer, and they constructed a sidewalk just to cover the sewer, about 6 feet, a little bit sewer, 6 feet to the fence that Opal Plaza has. So I'm sure that Opal Plaza fence was done by a surveyor, at least the measurements. And then about 5.5, 6 feet from there, you have the beginning of a sewer, an actual sewer, just to cover that's how much sidewalk there was. So, going from that, if you look on the fences around Woodward Road, in and around that curve, there needs to be some determination as to whose property is what, and what property belongs to whom, and then go from there. And if it takes removal of that massive tree and the removal of shrubs or whatever to increase the visibility and maybe recontour the curve, and there's no pedestrian, there's no sidewalks. You see, people are at risk there.
I'm actually thinking about, I'm looking at this picture, and I mean, I'm assuming the tree is the residence tree.
Oh, it's a very blurry picture. I can't make out.
The tree's right on
Is
the
on-
property.
Well,
Is it on the town property?
I'd be willing to bet.
Right.
Yeah.
I took the picture from Elvira Street, practically quite a long distance, and I'm surprised that I got what I had.
Well, you know what we could do? We could, these are all the same pictures, right? So
Yeah,
we
I
can
just
keep
had copies made.
One of them? What we could do is we could send this picture to, I would say, I mean, if we had our own engineer or our own surveyors here in town, it would be easier, and hopefully the next DPW director that they hire, a permanent, will be an engineer.
Yeah,
You know,
and-
and then a lot of the questions that you're asking, we have someone right here on site that can do it instead of outsourcing everything. Because it either seems like we need an engineer or a surveyor. So,
Just to refresh your
the
memory,
council's suggestion, like,
He
where
is
would
right.
we?
You are right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Please.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a very
and
dangerous curve.
to refresh your memory, it was less than a month or so that we had a very serious accident with a motorcyclist colliding with a car. It's that recent. I mean, you had half of the
Said
fire
before
department.
that, we met a few years ago, and if you were coming down Wooded Road towards Mineral Spring to get the flash and arrow sign, and they just didn't want to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it.
Yeah, but when
Well,
it comes
as the
Right,
public
that's right on the
safety,
same.
as the public safety director, what I'm going to do is entertain a motion that, we'll send this picture, we'll entertain a motion that this particular curve in this area be evaluated on whose tree that is, if it's on town property or not. Because it is a public safety issue, it's a dangerous curve. You know, and I mean, like you said, there's no flashing arrows, there's nothing. So I'll entertain that motion.
But in that motion, you have to look at it for proper signage. You know what I'm saying? Don't look
Okay.
at it for the tree and the
Consider
bend.
proper signage.
Yeah, oh, you said proper signage?
No.
So we'll
you
entertain
wanted
the
to add
motion.
To
that,
include proper
yes.
signage, yes.
include the
Yeah, proper
appropriate signage.
delineation.
Did you ever go on Ocean Road in Narragansett? You know, if you go to Narragansett Beach,
Yes.
and it comes around that curve, it's like the same exact thing.
Right.
And there's those blinking signs.
That's,
Like you had requested
Right.
a couple years ago. That's exactly what that needs over there.
yeah.
And then again,
So-
the sidewalk is obviously not visible, so I mean,
The
if,
problem with the blinking sign is, the pole is here, and the curve is here. It's not, the pole isn't ahead.
You could put a
So
pole.
to run the wire, you'd have to run make the pole, a whole separate unit, and that was the complaint.
They can't run a thing underground.
Well, yeah, they can, but, you know, naturally, that affects the cost. Instead of just
affixing it to the pole and having the power source right there.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to send a letter to the public safety official and to the DPW acting director to take a look at this particular curve and getting proper signage on that curve, to just review it for its hazardous,
visibility,
yep,
right.
conditions, we'll say.
Exactly, yep.
So, second.
Motion made by Councilman Lynch, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. Yes. Your wife, will you let your wife talk?
No, that's
She
not my
wants to
wife.
take the microphone.
That's not my wife.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
I apologize.
Jane Firestein. I live at Lewis Quisset. I know that road very well. The curve is really a blind curve. My question is it possible to get rid of the curve entirely and just make the road straight and alleviate the curve? Question, that's all.
That would become part of the analysis which we're requesting.
Uh-huh.
That would become part of the analysis which was suggested.
Great, great. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there was another accident by another resident, her neighbor, on that road.
On Coleman?
On Woodman,
Oh, on
Woodward Road, yeah, icy condition on that point. But
Okay,
still,
so a
there's
motion
serious
was
accidents.
made, we're gonna send, a motion was made and seconded. All those in favor?
Good.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Great, thank you. And partial repavement of Coleman Street.
Yeah, this did not come from me, but a neighbor and friend who lives in that area and is concerned about the safety. As you get older people, I'm sure Blue Cross sends this out, people don't have the balance that they used to have. And so this is just an ounce of prevention type of thing to avoid lawsuits. If somebody falls and is litigious, like I am, they will file a lawsuit. So when I examined the road, 1/3 of it from Benjamin up to 8A, roughly, was in poor condition. Then all of a sudden there's a stretch of pretty good pavement, I guess to accommodate the owners of 8A, 8B, whatever, whoever owns those two units or so. And then it deteriorates again. So there only another 1/3 from the edge of that smooth pavement to Mineral Spring. So my first thought was, you know, the old idea of why can't we do it right the first time? What a ridiculous, poor job. I mean, if you're going to put in a road as short as Coleman Street between Mineral Spring and Benjamin, how much does it take to do the job right?
You know, what happened there was they repaved that portion you're referring to.
Yeah.
And then the portion that was not repaved, the portion that needs to be repaved, became deplorable when, before the brook was repaired.
What was repaired?
Evergreen Brook.
Oh,
Before that was repaired, the water used to all come down and settle in that portion that's in disrepair now.
All the way over to
All that-
Coleman?
oh, yeah.
All the way to Coleman?
Oh, that water used to come way down there, and that's what washed it out, and it would puddle there. And that's why it's in the condition it's in now. But the brook is fixed, but now you have the effects of the deplorable road.
Yeah, I
Well,
heard.
what we could do is send, I mean, there's a lot of roads in town. Unfortunately, I sit here and say that because it's a fact. We have a lot of roads that need to be repaired. But there is this list
It's
in
only a strip about
DPW,
as big
so
as this stage.
we could
Just needs
send a
some
letter,
pothole maintenance.
send a letter to the DPW, ask them to review this part of Coleman Street. However, I don't think anything will be done before the winter. As you heard with the paving companies, they closed.
With the asphalt.
But we will ask them to address this and put it on their list for repairs.
Yeah, I was told that someone who lived on Springdale, who somehow had a connection with the powers that be or the department or whatever, managed to have all of Springdale paved so he can have a nice, smooth, so that's politics, and I have to
I
understand that.
actually have to disagree with you there, because there was some work done on there, and there was a sinkhole.
Oh, all right, I don't know
And-
all the information, I just hear what I hear, you know.
Well, I'm telling you the truth.
A sinkhole on Springdale.
There was a sinkhole.
Oh, yeah, I think I
And then
remember.
the utilities company
Utility cost.
came in, and they made the repair at the request that we called and asked them to make the repair.
Okay.
Because of the large sinkhole, and that's why it got taken care of, was because the utilities company
Okay.
had made the original cuts.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay,
that's
I-
the truth.
Thank you.
How's
I'm-
that?
it's-
So I
it's
got
good.
the chief for you, I got the truth on that. We're gonna send a letter to, on the encroachment and the findings, we're sending a letter for Wooded Road. So I
Happy
think we
New
got
Year.
you covered.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year already.
All right.
There's a lot of affluential people on Springdale at the top of the hill.
I
You know
know.
who I'm talking about.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you. Yeah, we actually did. We did, we made
What do you want, the pictures back? Oh. The Justice Department?
We're still waiting on dates.
Right, we're still communicating with the mayor's office and coming up with a
Okay.
date.
All right, we'll follow up on it. Thank you. Item number 21, tangible abatements. We received a list of tangible abatements from Geraldine Parenti, the deputy tax assessor. Back in August, we had received an abatement for $8,695.50, and the amount of $23,808.36 is what was approved because it was the total abatement amount, not just the individual amount. Because we had, in the Finance Committee, we had passed this back for more clarification. So tonight, I'm just going to make a motion to correct the tangible abatement amount from $23,808.36 to $8,695.50.
So moved.
Second.
A motion's been made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Lynch. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 22, uncollectible tax. We received a letter from Claudette Mooney, the tax collector, for the uncollectible tangible business balances in the amount of $45,188.08. I'd like to entertain a motion to remove these from the accounts payable in the general ledger and deem uncollectible.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 23, uncollectible taxes. We received a letter from Claudette Mooney for uncollectible motor vehicle balances in the amount of $255,647.42 for the years of 2000 and 2001. I'll entertain a motion to remove from the accounts payable in the general ledger and deem uncollectible.
So moved.
Second.
A motion has been made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 24, tax abatements. Council discussion and action and possible vote concerning a list of tax abatements under $1,000 we received from Janice Muscatelli. I'd like to entertain a motion to abate $1,030.44 for real estate, to $688.20 for tangibles abatements for 2013, and $847.59 for tangible abatements for 2014.
So moved. Second.
A motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Warren. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Tax abatements with corresponding addendas. I'd like to entertain a motion to abate for motor vehicles, $1,888.89.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Audiello. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 26, tax addendas with corresponding abatements. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve motor vehicles for $1,888.89.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 27, discussion and vote concerning list of motor vehicle addendas. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the addendas in the amount of $1,341.69.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilman Juicy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 28, tax addendas. Action and vote concerning the tax addenda list. Motion to approve real estate addendas for $2,490.01.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Tax abatements over $1,000. I'd like to entertain a motion to refer a tangible tax abatements for $1,020.69 to the Finance Committee.
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilman Warren and Audiello. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 30, addendas over $1,000. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve 2012 tangibles for $2,703.49, 2013 tangibles for $3,854.47, and 2014 tangibles for $3,604.14.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Juicy, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Tax abatements with corresponding addendas. I'll entertain a motion to abate tangible abatements with the corresponding addendas for $3,511.02.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. 32, tax addendas with corresponding abatements. Motion to approve tangible addendas with corresponding abatements for $3,511.02.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Audiello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. 33, tax abatements over $1,000. I'd like to entertain a motion to refer the real estate abatements for $1,119.28 and tangible abatements for $1,020.69 to the Finance Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 34, tax abatements over $1,000. We received a letter from Geraldine Parenti for tangible abatements. I'll entertain a motion to refer back to the Finance Committee for 2009 tax abatement $1,182.77, 2010 tax abatement for $1,130.93, 2011 tax abatement for $1,111.73.
So moved.
A motion has been made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 35, Claims Committee. We received a claim from Andrew Tsakis. I'll entertain a motion to refer the claim of $5,524.36 for a sewer backup to the Claims Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made by Councilwoman Brady, seconded by Councilman Audiello. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 36, we received a resolution from the town of Hopkinton for a possible vote and action to address the issue of the state tax on Social Security benefits. I'll entertain a motion to place on file.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Audiello, seconded by Councilwoman Brady. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. We are at the close of our 2014 last meeting, and I'd like to wish everybody happy holidays and a good healthy holiday season. And I think we would be remiss if this council didn't recognize a very valuable part of our council for 4 years. Not only is John Lynch a friend of mine, and I've just got to know him for the last 4 years, I think he represented his constituents with the utmost respect, concern, consideration. He represented this council always with honesty and transparency. He was on this council through a tough time for all of us when we all became members and we all had to learn to work with each other, and we were all friends. We all pretty much became friends 4 years ago. I value my friendship with John very much. I hate to even be emotional about it, but I think he's just a very good man, and I thank him for his service. I really do, and I really can't even read this resolution to you, but it's from everybody here on the council, and I wish you well, and I hope I talk to you every morning at 8:30 like I do now, and so I will pass this down to you. It's a resolution from us, and also a little gift for you, and
Purple gift.
a purple gift, because I know you like purple. So without further ado, if anybody else has anything to say, please do so at this time.
Well, John, it's been a pleasure working with you. I've known you since I was a little kid. I waited on you in my dad's restaurant, and we were friends before politics, and I'm sure we'll continue to be friends after politics.
Absolutely.
So it was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
John, it really has been an honor to serve with you. I've always referred to you as our infrastructure expert, so you will continue, I'm sure, to be getting calls and advice from many of us in that regard, but also for the great job you did in terms of serving the constituents, and as you continue to represent me in District 2 as well, I know you'll continue to be available whenever we have those kinds of questions. You did a great job. Thank you.
I would just like to say that when I decided to run 2 years ago, John lent me his guidance and his advice, which was invaluable, and I appreciate John showing me the ropes the past 2 years. It was a pleasure and honor working with him.
Thank you, Will.
Great.
John, it was a pleasure working with you the last 4 years. I wish you well, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
Thank you.
Are you going to miss sitting next to John? Showing you all his notes and everything? So,
Well,
okay.
I'd like to thank everybody here tonight. It's been my pleasure to serve the constituents of District 2, and it's been my pleasure working with you, my fellow council members. I've learned a lot about each and every one of you and our strengths and weaknesses, and you touched on it earlier where these past 4 years, these past 8 years have been very, very difficult. We touched on a lot of subjects that a lot of these other councils never touched. And they all came to us, one after another, boom, boom, boom. And we did what we had to do. There were some good times, and there were some bad times, but we looked through it, and we move on. And I appreciate that, you know. But what I would like to do at this time is welcome the new councilman who is present tonight, Councilman Raymond DeStephanis from District 2. And I know Raymond will do an excellent job representing our constituents in District 2, and I would like to say welcome, Raymond. Okay. And with that, good night.
All right, well,
Thank you.
thank you again, and happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next year. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting. Second? Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.